Carol with the Child Creativity Lab, and today we're going to do some experimenting with color. We're going to be working with primary colors and we're going to create some secondary colors. You can do this by creating a color wheel, and I've got some instructions following that you can go by, or on the website is a printout, and it will print you out a form for a color wheel that you can fill in. So we can use watercolor paints or we can use watercolor pencils. So whatever you've got, we'll make that work, and let's get started. So you can see I've folded my paper plate horizontal and then vertical, and it gives me a point in the center where those two lines meet, and that is the center of this circle. So we found our diameter of the circle, and now we found the center, and that's going to help us set up our color wheel. From here, we're going to divide the top section into thirds. So you want to think about 3 equal sections, and we're going to make like a big X through our circle. So if you've got the printout, you can see this is where we're doing this. We're going to make this X now through our circle. So thirds, across here, down, crossing through the center point. So here it's divided up, and if it's not exactly perfect, that's okay. It's just so we get the colors next to each other. I've colored in the red section with a watercolor pencil, which should work just fine. If that's what you've got, they're a little neater. And then you just take the water and you can start to blend it in just like that. All right, I've got my red all blended with the water. Now I'm going to do the yellow section and the blue section. Those are our primary colors. Red, yellow, blue are primary colors. So let's go ahead and color in those sections with our watercolor pencils. I'm sure you found out now as you've been painting that it doesn't take a lot of water to blend your pencils in. So don't completely saturate your paper. You want to use just enough water to make the pencils start to blend together. Okay, we've got our graphic done, and if you're using watercolor paints, you can start with red, and then we're going to go on to the yellow and the blue. Okay, once you have your primary colors, we're going to start with our secondaries. The way to do that, to have a little bit more control, is we're going to mix the colors on the plate. So put some red on here, and then rinse your brush out really good. And we're going to mix some yellow in with the red, and as you can see, we get orange. And then you're going to color that in. And we'll proceed with the yellow mixed with the blue, and the blue mixed with the red. So I blended yellow and blue, and we got green. It's kind of magical how it all works. The colors blend together and they form a secondary color. So now we've made green out of 2 primary colors, blue and yellow. So now let's see what happens when we mix red and blue. All right, our last color on here is going to be the blue mixed with red. So I'm going to put some blue on my paper or on my plate. Rinse out my brush. Add some red, and we're going to get violet. So that is the last secondary color on our color wheel. So primary colors, red, yellow, blue. Secondary colors, orange, green, violet. As an added experiment, you can also think about doing tints and hues of a color. A tint is when you add white. A hue is when you add black. So you start with your original color and add white until basically it goes to just white. With the hue, you start with your original color, add a little bit of black, more black, more black, and by the end, basically you're back to black again. This is going to work better with the paints than the watercolor pencils. But it's kind of a fun experiment, and it gives you control over your brushes too, and how much saturation of color you have in your paint. I hope you had fun doing your color wheel today, whether you used your pencils or your watercolors. Either way, I'm sure they turned out beautiful, and you learned a lot about the magic of color and what you can do with just 3 colors. You can make any color possible with just 3 primary colors. So send us pictures of your color wheel, and we will see you next time.